Good morning, guys. So I spent the week wondering about how I was going to actually get it up on top of the bandsaw, the stand, and I went ahead and gave a few people a text message this morning, and one person was available to come right on over. So my brother-in-law helped me lift this bandsaw up on top of the stand, and what I'm doing now is I'm assembling the screws that came with it. And if you saw an earlier video, and if I haven't cut it out, where I complained about the actual tool needed to secure all this stuff, Grizzly included this tool to tighten down everything that is needed. So that is way stellar cool. Thank you, Grizzly, and I do apologize for voicing any discontent about having to search for a specific size in my tool drawer that should be organized, and that's on me. So thanks again. So go ahead and we're going to tighten this thing down because this 245-pound contraption is just standing on top of the base and is not secured right now, and I do not want to leave it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those bolts in it now. Next step is to take the actual table itself, which is cast iron, and stick it onto the piece I just stuck on over there. And I must say it's far easier now that I have the instruction manual. So I've quickly learned that in order to get the actual top on, I've had to actually take the blade out, which wasn't tight, which is easy, it just came right out. And then there's not enough clearance here, and as it turns out, it's this little guy over here. You just simply turn it, and that throat gets up out of the way, and then I can lay the table down and hook it up correctly. Again, first time I've had a bandsaw, so I wasn't 100% sure how to do this. The instructions just say now it's time to put it on there. It doesn't actually tell you to. It says to line up the table slot with the blade, then position the table so that the blade is in the center of the cutout. It doesn't actually say take the blade off and raise the throat. So maybe this will help some of you that might get confused like I did. Alright, at this point, it wants the rear rail fence to be put on, which is this tube-looking deal here. A little thrown off by the two circles that don't exist on this piece, but that's okay. I'm sure that photo probably came from another table. So, it wants you to stick the two cap screws to be done with, obviously, the Allen wrench. So these are the only ones I could find that had the Allen wrench thingamajiggy in on. So since there's no nut or washer, I noticed that this hole is smaller than this hole, so that tells me which orientation to go. But I'm not 100% sure if it will go on to the table saw. I keep saying table saw. It's bandsaw. So I guess it's got to go on this orientation, because if I do it this way, it'll stick out past the bandsaw. So I'm going to go ahead and secure that on next. So my moment of bloopers is you must put the screw onto the hex head before you try to get it into the bottom hole. Otherwise, you end up with a baby's rattle where the screw is on the inside and the two ends have plastic caps on them. So this will probably go on my bloopers reel, maybe, or real life. This is what's so as I try to get this out, I'm not going to record the whole thing. Okay, we're all set up. I've checked everything out per the instructions. Everything's tracking successfully, as it should. Kudos to Grizzly for sending this thing in a ready-to-go sense. I have checked everything per the instructions, like I said, just to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So, without another moment of delay, let's get this thing plugged in and see what it sounds like. That sounded great! And so, I think I'm going to cut some wood now. As you can see, it left a little bit of oil. There's a slight jumpiness to it because, well, I'm brand new to this thing, so it's going to take some time. But I was able to cut just outside the line like I was looking for. It did not wander off course, so I think the tracking is set up on this thing the correct way. And I'm going to cut the rest of this out, but not before I do what the recommended manufacturer was, and that was to hook up the ventilation, the sucky thing. I have a shop vac, but I probably need to get the correct size 4-inch down to the smaller. And yay, we've already got sawdust on this thing, and so that's good, right? Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more crafts and projects coming up where I have been putting off because I hadn't had a bandsaw. So, again, thanks for watching. My name's Jay, and this is the Backyard Woodworks.